All right, we're back talking about Democrats, politicians, Republicans. Should we vote? Should we not vote? Who should we vote for? How should we vote? Okay, how did Jesus deal with politicians? Let's go to John 19:10 through 11. John 19:10 through 11. All right. Now, this politician, I'm going to call him, official, okay, head honcho, Pilate, he was questioning Jesus. Now, he really didn't want to deal with Jesus, okay? It wasn't something his cup of tea. He wanted to kind of get rid of him, but he couldn't. And he kept asking him questions. And in verse 10, he says, "Do you refuse to speak to me?" Pilate said. "Don't you realize I have the power either to free you or crucify you?" Jesus answered, "You would have no power over me if it were not given to you from above. Therefore, the one who handed me over to you is guilty of a greater sin." Now let's go back to the first part of 11. Jesus said, "You would," in other words, you have no power. Can I paraphrase for a second? Because I just get so passionate about this. Forgive me, Lord, if I'm out of line. I don't mean to be. But I just go berserk because here you have this, this pompous guy, official, government official, thinking he can snap his fingers, anything can happen. He tells Jesus, "I have don't you understand? I have the power. I have the power to free you or crucify you." Jesus looked at him. I'm paraphrasing. "You listen to me. I'm going to tell you something, Jack. You have no power except the power that comes from above that God has given you. So shut up." Okay. I'm sure Jesus didn't say that, but I can imagine him. If you're making a movie, he turns around, he lays it on Pilate and just puts him right in his place. Okay, so that's the first part of that. Now, let's go to the second part. Therefore, the one who handed me over to you is guilty of a greater sin. Now, this is key because this ties in, I believe, to what we're going through right now. Why are we where we are right now? Who got us here? How did we get here? And why are we here? And we're going to find out right now as we talk about what Jesus meant in the second part of verse 11. Therefore, the one who handed me over to you is guilty of a greater sin. Who was that? No, it wasn't Judas. Judas handed Jesus over to the Sanhedrin. The Sanhedrin, especially Caiaphas, the high priest, who said it's better that one man die. You see, it was the religious system. The religious system is the one who handed Jesus over. They are more guilty. They have the greater sin than this man Pilate, who could have Jesus crucified. Do you understand that the reason we are where we are is this is a concerted effort? It's a unity between the deep state, the one world government, and the one world religious system. And we're seeing that puppy rise up now. We are here because of religion. Number one, religion is counterfeit. I'm talking about religion, not relationship. It's counterfeit. It's not real. And it has made deals with the political system a long time ago. These deals were made, and that's why we are where we are right now, folks. It's because they made a deal, the Sanhedrin made a deal with the Romans 2,000 years ago, and religion has made a deal with the one world government, and this is why we are where we are. I want to bring Pastor Mike on, ask him to bring his thoughts into this. Pastor, I got a little passionate when I said, paraphrase what Jesus would say.
I actually loved your translation, David.
Okay, so maybe we'll do a new translation of the Bible, the Heather and Spalding translation, okay, or the B-movie translation. Yeah, I mean, I'm passionate. Do you think, though, when Jesus was talking like that, could he have been, I mean, I know the way it's written, I see that, but do you think he could have been passionate behind that statement to him by telling him he has no power except what his father gave him?
No, I think that's exactly right. And you can go to Romans 13. I think it's a very logical step to the governing authorities. That's who he was talking about. Jesus said, it's the governing authorities that have the greater sin. I mean, that's who he came and confronted constantly, was the Pharisees and the Sadducees. So I think you're spot on in your analysis.
And so when the Sanhedrin turned him over to be crucified, it was basically the religious system. And a long time ago, I believe the religious system, I'm talking about religion, not relationship, made a deal with the United States government. We're talking about the United States right now, to, hey, you know, we'll just make these deals, right? And this is what you end up with, is you end up with a hodgepodge of mess, you know. Whereas if Christians would have, if we would have stuck, you know, stayed with it and stuck to our guns, right? And don't,
Yes.
There would have been tough times, but don't you think we've been a lot better off?
No, absolutely, David. True biblical faith is always a threat to any government that is not God ordained or God led. That is why we are where we are.
It's religion. And religion is also when someone turns lukewarm and they're afraid to stand up.
Well, the first thing that we need to do is to join our prayer with fasting. And then, and I'm not talking about an extended season. We already know, David, what the issues are in America. We don't have to spend the next 3 months or whatever in prayer and fasting. Come on, get serious, folks. What we need to do is we need to get engaged. The first place we need to get engaged, David, is with our city or community council, our village councils, our mayors, our school systems, right there where we live, where we can have the greatest impact upon our children and our grandchildren. Do we really want to see this nation continue on the trajectory that it is? I've got grandchildren, David. I am concerned for what they're going to face. So we need to get involved at the local level and then start working our way up. We need to understand that there's a reason the Constitution says we the people, David.
Yeah.
Because we the people have the authority. We have the authority. And so it's time that we get engaged and exercise that authority. And that's that's not trying to be secular. That's doing our Christian responsibility. If we want to turn the nation around, it's going to require people, God's people, getting involved again and influencing, informing, and giving direction to our civic life. We must do it, or we might as well just pack it up and forget it.
Yeah, and then when you say we have authority, you're talking about God's people have the authority, not just everybody. And now everybody has the right, but we as believers, we have the authority. Yeah.
We have true authority, and we have the power behind that authority, David.
Right, and that's why we need to walk in power. You know, I'm going to make a T-shirt up that says "I love Jesus," and on the back of it, I'm going to have it on there. I'm going to say, "And I dare you." Okay, because I just want people to come say, "You dare me to what?" I said, "You don't want to find out," you know, because I got the power of God in me. Folks, we can turn this around if we stop being fearful and we stop worrying about being politically correct, and we just walk into a room. Look, I'm a child of God. Okay, now what? What do we do here? You'd be surprised. All those demons, they shut up just like that. They start trembling, you know, because you're flipping the tables, you know. You're flipping the tables. They don't know how to respond to a Christian with some guts because they don't see too many of that happening. So I think what you're saying as we close this up is that we as true believers have to go, you know what? I'm going to love my life to death because I live for Jesus. When I say to death, I don't mean that necessarily I might die physically, but I don't mind the persecution. Bring it on, baby. I'm here to tell the truth, okay? And that's what I'm going to do. And I get more joy out of telling the truth, and you take a couple whacks at me than I do being quiet, and everybody leaves me alone, all right? So, all right, Pastor, hey, listen, thank you so much. Are you going to stay with us for the underground? We're really going to...
I will.
Go, okay. God bless you.
Yes,
thank you so much.
God bless you, David. Thank you.
Okay, so what are we talking about? We're talking about truth. We're talking about how did we get this way? We're talking about we have the power now to change things. You have the power to change it in your home, in your community, in your city, one person at a time. It starts with you.
If you're like me and you're tired of organized religion, the same kind of preacher preaching feel-good sermons, I'm a mom raising 2 kids, and I want them to hear the truth. I'm a gatherer right here on David Heavener Live every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we learn what it means to be a real Christian, to cast our demons, heal the sick, and fight the good fight. I'm not famous, and I'm certainly not rich, but I am a child of the living God, and I stand on truth. I hope you'll join me and many others right here on David Heavener Live, where we learn to use our God-given power. I've come to chew gum and kick the devil's rear end, and I'm all out of gum.
Everybody is someone's last evangelist.
You bring out what the other churches don't bring out.
10 million ritually abused people.
Yes. You expose things that they don't talk about.
I just want to say thank you to David for making these videos, because he's made people aware of what's going on.
It's not the lukewarm church that's going to awaken. They're going to think, oh, the New World Order is wonderful. This is what we've been praying for.
A demon could take on the form of an alien. You know, Satan can masquerade himself as an angel of light.
They get into people and cause people to do blood sacrifices and do all these demonic things.
You talk about what other pastors, so-called ministers, don't talk about.
I'm just so grateful for the work that you have done. So thankful for everything that you're doing and fighting for us in Hollywood.
Stop playing church. It's time to be the church.
And that's what I love about it.